Hello, everyone, and welcome to Automate Live. It's my pleasure to be here with Sina Afrooze he is the founder and CEO of Apera AI. Welcome.
Correct. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
And how is everything going for you at Automate?
Really good, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be the biggest Automate ever. There is lots of attendees, and we have a really nice booth, lots of interest. This is our fourth year, I think, at Automate,
okay.
And every year it keeps getting better.
We're going to talk a lot about augmented reality today, but I wanted to kind of get for people out there that may not have heard about Apera AI, I'd like you to maybe just give us the 10,000-foot view of what does Apera AI do?
Great question. All the robots in the world, they either don't have eyes or they have poor vision. We give robots 20/20 vision. That's what we do. And our particular focus is on manufacturing applications.
Yes.
And we tend to work with the largest manufacturers in the world. So that's our key focus areas, whether it's in automotive and appliances and machinery and heavy machinery manufacturing. So all of those people that use a lot of robots, they can often increase their robot use anywhere between 25 to 30% by using Apera Vision.
And so you have you started out in random bid picking, which
Correct.
was a really cool part of the application. So can you give us a little bit of that backstory?
Yeah, that's a great question. Basically, the entire inspiration for the company was a tier one auto supplier came to us with a big challenge. There are all these things we want to automate on the factory floor. We can't because robots don't have a good enough vision.
Right.
And that was the spark. And we went around, we went to trade shows, and we realized this is a big problem that's not solved. And with what AI was making possible, we realized there's a huge opportunity to take the computer vision and robot guidance to the next level. So that was the initial inspiration. And we did start with bin picking because frankly, bin picking is considered the holy grail of vision guided robotics. It's just really challenging. And we have the best bin picking in the world. It's better than anything that you can find out there. But also a lot of other applications like racking, de-racking, packing, that as you start talking to the customers, you end up realizing that, okay, these are also big applications and opportunities where you can put a vision on a robot and increase its accuracy, increase the throughput of the line, and improve quality.
So you deal with a lot of systems integrators, correct?
That's right.
The applications of when they put an Apera AI system in.
That's correct. So there are basically two ways that our system finds its way on a factory floor.
Yes.
Either it's a retrofit or a simple sell that is done by the staff of the manufacturers themselves.
Yes.
Because frankly, technology has got to a place where doing those things is not that complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But when anybody is doing anything that's a little bit more complicated, there's a full line built, there's multiple jigs to be built, conveyor systems, then usually there's a system integrator involved. And, I'm happy to say that almost every large system integrator in North America is one of our partners.
Oh, that's great. And so what are some of the other challenges that they're facing at that manufacturing level?
One of the big challenges today is labor shortage for manufacturing, and the fact that not only labor is hard to hire, but also the turnover is really high. And this is becoming increasingly big problem for manufacturers as manufacturing is being pushed to come back, and it just cannot come back the same way that things are manufactured offshore. So that's when Apera is becoming a very strategic part of the new factory builds. A lot of the things that people would have just thrown bodies at is no longer affordable.
Yes.
So we're enabling all the loading and unloading that happens in an autonomous way. People are starting to use a lot of AMRs to move material around. And that has to be combined with automated picking in order for the manufacturer to gain the full ROI. So the combination of these technologies that are becoming available are really enabling manufacturers to produce products at similar cost, but on the Western Hemisphere.
We talked a little bit before this about resiliency. Did you have a comment about that?
Resiliency on the
in manufacturing.
Usually, the resiliency that we talk about is on resiliency to real world challenges.
Right.
Lighting is a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
Always changes, and when you talk about vision, lighting has always been a pretty big problem for all machine vision solutions. The technology that we've built, we've completely eliminated susceptibility to lighting variations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't use any sort of like projected lighting, whether you have skylights, windows, daytime. We have systems that are working outdoors in daytime, nighttime, sunlight, cloudy conditions,
yes,
rain and shine. But another resiliency is to variations in part presentation,
mm-hmm.
variations in positioning of, for example, the bin, the tote,
yep.
variation in position of the jig. And all of those things result in frequent downtimes.
Right.
So even if the system might have been automated, all it takes for a manufacturer to lose tens of thousands of dollars is for that line to be down for 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Right.
A manufacturer that's producing over 70, 80 trucks an hour, half an hour,
yes,
is a lot of trucks that just didn't get built. So that reliability and that resiliency to real world challenges like lighting, like positional variations, that is something that we're really, really good at. And that's where we truly demonstrate that value to our customers.
Thank you for that, Sina. Can you tell us about View software?
Absolutely. So the way that we've solved the challenge of vision-guided robotics is through a software that has AI at its core. And that software, we've called it Apera View.
Yes.
And that's basically at the heart of what we do. We do use more or less off-the-shelf cameras,
mm-hmm.
off-the-shelf processing PCs, and do all the heavy lifting and the magic, if you will, all in the software with the AI at its core. And that's what the View software does.
So I was in your booth earlier before we had this conversation. Yep. And can you tell us a little bit what we're seeing in the booth? Absolutely.
So we've got a couple of demos that showcase two of the main use cases that Apera has had a lot of success with on factory floors. One is a racking and de-racking application mm-hmm. using vision. So we have we'll talk about a little bit about viewport, but basically the cameras attached to the end of arm tool, mm-hmm. and that is used to detect the parts, detect the rack.
Yes.
Pick the part off the rack and place it in another rack, all with vision guidance. The racks are not fixtured.
Right.
And that allows the robot to basically adapt to the environment. This is very, very common application, and it's source of, again, micro stops and downtimes when the rack moves a little bit or the part moves a little bit. Another application that we're showing is bin picking of stamped parts.
Yes.
Again, very common use case. And a unique thing that we're showing with the bin picking of stamped parts is that, again, we're using the vision not just to pick the parts, but also to place the parts and stack the parts, doing all of that with vision guidance with our Autopilot technology, yep. which ensures that the robot doesn't bind and the robot never collides with anything. So that's what we're showing in our booth.
One of the challenges with racks, too, are racks get banged around a lot, right, in
100%.
Manufacturing. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. No two rack is the same. And even if they were built the same, after 6 months in a manufacturing floor, they're not going to be the same. So when you go to place the part into the rack or pick a part from the rack itself is effectively an obstacle that you have to avoid. And it's a constant problem when you try to automate this task.
Yeah.
So what our vision system does is not only guides the robot to pick the part very reliably, but it can also identify elements of the rack as points of collision and be able to guide the robot to go in, pick the part, avoid those points of collision, come out, or when you're doing the reverse, when you're placing, identify the elements of the rack that the part has to go on and be able to place the part very accurately onto the rack.
And can you tell us a little bit about ROI?
Absolutely. I think the ROI on doing automation is becoming easier and easier almost day by day. The headcount rebalances and effectively the cost of the alternative doing things manually, that is certainly something that goes into the ROI calculation.
Yes.
But increasingly, we're seeing that the cost of the turnover being taken into account, the cost of having to retrain the workers becoming an issue, the cost of labor becoming basically unreliable and, shows up today, but it doesn't show up tomorrow. Those are becoming part of the ROI calculation. But then at the same time, the technology is getting to a point where integration of the systems is becoming more seamless.
Yes.
And faster.
Yep.
With less engineering and with introduction of, AI and vision, the systems are really becoming robust to the point that the manufacturers can actually rely on this technology and not have to worry about rolling this technology into their factory floors.
So augmented reality is important to your clients.
Correct.
Or is it important to you?
This is actually a new product that we are revealing at Automate, and I'm very excited to talk about that.
Oh, nice. What's it called?
It's part of the Apera Forge, and it's instant concept design in augmented reality. The backstory on that is I'm working in a tier 1 supplier.
Yes.
And there's literally 300 stations where our technology can be used. And today it's just like people picking things from the bin and placing it onto a jig. And their question is, where do we get started? And before the Apera Forge AR, what you would have to do is bring in a system integrator.
Yep.
They measure the floor. Sometimes they start to scan it using a 3D scanner, take that back to their office, do some rendering, put a concept together, show you.
Yes.
Now, with Apera Forge, we made digital twins possible in a really easy web interface.
Yes.
You can build a cell, you can put a robot, and immediately you're able to see that. Now, what Apera Forge AR does is it allows you to place that right on the factory floor as you're walking the floor.
So you can see it.
You can not only
almost
see
like
it,
real time.
You can measure it. You can check if it's going to fit in your space.
Yep.
You can check if there are any obstacles that are in the way of the robot. You can immediately use Autopilot and digital twin to move that around. And best of all, you can experience it at our booth. Yep. So come to our booth and you'll be able to grab a robot cell, place it on the floor, and be able to experience the magic of Apera Forge AR.
What's your booth number?
That's a great question. 3507.
Also, you have some news about Detroit and a new office that you're creating, and we only have like 30 seconds left. So that's in response to training, right?
100%. So the more we penetrate and put systems into factories, the more people were asking us, can I just send my engineers down and become an expert in Apera so that we can keep putting more Aperas on our factory? So we decided to open a training facility in Detroit that is going to be where customers and system integrators can come in, have an offsite time, truly learn the system. We're going to have a certification program that allows people to truly learn Apera and be able to put Apera systems on factories much, much faster.
So lots going on. Hey, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure.